Dr. Nandipha Magudumana has apparently released a letter through her lawyer relating to her arrest and subsequent developments. Magudumana says she has been reflecting on various kinds of abuse she suffered at the hands of powerful men, some of whom are government office bearers and influential business people. She also claims to have had painful experiences in prison where she was being held, and mentioned the plight of women inmates and the violation of their rights. What do we make of this letter? Legal analyst Melusi Xulu gives us some perspective. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, how should we even begin to interpret this letter? Penned and really speaking about what she has endured from government, well, powerful office bearers, she says, and a number of other influential people. It really is a little bit baffling. How should we begin to interpret it?
Good morning, Paul, and to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me. Paul, in reference to the powerful government officials or powerful families or business people that she mentioned, obviously she didn't mention who exactly abused her emotionally and sexually. But until she, opens a case of, say, for sexual abuse, then we will know. But I've always wondered, in relation to this case, are there powerful people involved somehow to influence how decisions were made? I'll give you an example. In May 2022, there was an inmate who wrote an email to one of the high-ranking officials at the Correctional Services Department. If you do your research, you'll find out who that person is. And there was no reply to that complaint. So I've always wondered whether she does have, or they do have, any relationship to the powerful people in the government sector or in the business sector to influence what happened in this case when, Thabo Bester escaped and when he was also living with her. So I've always wondered that, but maybe that link or connection will come up if she does, reveal more information, because for now she's giving us a hint, but it's not enough to have a conclusion. Yes,
she gives us a hint that the letter you speak of, yes, was widely spoken to when, when questions were raised about why action didn't happen sooner, because there was some sort of, feedback when it comes to giving detail on what may be happening, and that was overlooked. And then later it becomes a question of now trying to ensure that Thabo Bester is indeed taken to prison. But the link, yes, as you make mention, could possibly be there. How significant will it be for Dr. Magudumana to now name these people? Because we also got some idea when there were, audio clips on social media, allegedly of that, of Thabo Bester, where he says, and he speaks about the powerful people that he knows and how people are watching Dr. Magudumana. What in your, on legal grounds, would you say would be the basis of any sort of court action if it was possible?
Well, until she reports, Paul, until she opens a case, a letter for me is just a PR management purpose, which the timing is perfect because right now, everyone is aware for the case, we've got all the information. But until she reports those high-ranking officials, there's nothing else that will be done. It will just be more of a PR exercise than any legal action to be taken, because we know that, one, the case in Bloemfontein is continuing and the investigation is continuing for the criminal case. Number two, we are still waiting to see whether she's going to take her appeal straight to the Constitutional Court or she's going to go to the Supreme Court of Appeal for that unlawful arrest civil case or application that she made. So her mentioning the high-ranking officials, I think it's interesting, but for now, it's just a PR exercise if there's no legal action that she will do through her lawyers, because if you read the letter, she didn't say what she will do about those people, but she did mention the legal team is aware of other issues like either production companies telling her story. So she doesn't say anything about the legal action that she will do, but let's wait and see, because we've seen that she's not afraid to go to any length to protect herself.
And that really stands out here. I mean, you speak about a PR exercise, supposedly, but on what grounds? On what grounds would this PR exercise be based on? She's already in a lot of trouble. Why would it benefit her to now pen this letter? Is it to gain some sort of sympathy in her other cases? And that in itself would also raise more questions, because if it's abuse, now the abuse allegations moving away from Thabo Bester, because we saw how they were happy to see each other in court when they appeared, holding hands and appearing very, very, much in love, it looked. So on what grounds?
Can you just repeat the last part?
Yeah, so on what grounds would this so-called PR exercise be beneficial to the bigger case?
Yes. Well, if you've done your research on Dr. Nandipha, she does care about her brand. I mean, her brand is all about women empowerment, black excellence, coming from a small town in Eastern Cape. So I think for her, lack of a better word, for her ego, inverted commas, she felt she just needed to put her voice out there. Because interestingly, it's the first time we hear her voice, her voice herself speaking instead of the attorneys or the lawyers. So I think she just wanted to say to people that she cares about, and to people that she might regard, inverted commas, as her fans, that, I've been abused, I am a victim, and, there are more people who are powerful, who are actually the ones who should be blamed for whatever mess I'm in. So she's taking a stance of being a victim. But here's what is very interesting, Paul, that I've looked at in this case for the last 4 months, if I may say. She has never, whether through the letter or through her attorneys, responded to the allegations in the criminal court. She's always referring to the arrest in Tanzania, which she says is illegal. So I find that very interesting. But obviously, you don't want to talk about a case before the trial starts. But I find it interesting that she doesn't mention anything about the allegations in the criminal court.
She doesn't mention anything about allegations in the criminal court, but seemingly trying to, you speak about her branding, women empowerment. Also, right at the end of the letter, she speaks about her children. I mean, that in itself just wants you you almost sympathize with her. She says she misses her children and she's going to see them soon. And of course, how would this help in the bigger scheme of things, in line with all the charges that she's facing? How would this letter, if you were her lawyer advising her, how would you now advise that this letter would perhaps be beneficial in the bigger case?
Well, it puts the human side of her. It makes her to look like a, well, not look like her, but it shows she's a caring person. She cares for her children. I mean, and as a woman who's suffered abuse, is someone that should be looked at as a victim. So I think that's the card that they're playing. But at the end of the day, like I've said, if she's not giving us a view about the criminal case, which is more important in my view, she's not really doing much, because, if you are innocent, as much as you should not, make public statements about your case. If you are really truly innocent, you'll give an indication to say, even the case that I'm arrested for, whether it's, disturbing a corpse, or whether it's fraud, or whether it's assisting Thabo Bester to escape, I'm not guilty of any of that. I did not use my connection to get a corpse of the gentleman that was a corpse who was burnt in the cell of Thabo Bester. So as long as she's not answering that, in my view, if she's innocent, I don't think it will have much. That is why I say my whole take on this is that it's just a PR management exercise, and she's also got a production company that is owned by a black female that will be telling a story. So I think in the days that we're living in, we have what we call trial by media or trial by social media. So I think she's just answering her case in the social media space, but in court it's a whole different animal.
So it's just playing the public court, basically.
Basically, and maybe, she will get sympathy, but at the end of the day, it's the court that will have to listen to the evidence, not the social media commentators, if I'll put it like that.
What would you say, perhaps, you've mentioned some of your concerns around her not talking about the appeal, but what would have been the implications, or what would have been some of the considerations you'd have to make before naming? Why not name? You're in trouble already. What's the worst that could happen? If she's speaking about this network behind a lot of the developments here, yeah.
Yes, no, I say specifically she doesn't want to speak about the criminal case. The appeal is a civil case, so it's different. But here's my view, and I was reluctant to talk about it. But I think in a way, she's trying to say to those people who are powerful, who can be influential, she's saying, if you don't assist me in any way whilst I'm here, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna speak names, so you have to do something. That is my view, but I know it's something very strange to say, but I think this is what she's trying to do in a nutshell.
Yeah, we are yet to learn of even stranger developments here. Thank you so much for that, legal analyst Melusi Xulu, speaking about Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's what's not a heartfelt letter here, really just putting a human touch and speaking about some allegations she's put to the forefront, saying that she has suffered abuse, emotional, sexual and physical abuse under the hands of some very powerful people. So it's a story that we will continue to watch, of course, to see the likely developments.